this recent success that has really brought Eintracht Frankfurt to the footballing map, everybody noticing them in some way or the other. For you, since you've become a fan, what has been your greatest moment as a supporter? Not your favorite match, not your favorite player, because we will come to those questions later, but your moment, is that moment captured in your mind like in such a way that you feel like, oh, that was the greatest moment as a fan for me, and it feels like it happened yesterday?
Yeah, to be honest, what you were talking about, the game, my favorite game, etc., it goes along a bit, as I was part of the semi-final game 290 against Chelsea London. Visited London with some friends. We went there for the game, and this whole day was something that I will never forget. It was a huge and crazy experience for me. Of course, a nice weekend there as well, and great time. But especially this day really was showing me why I was supporting Eintracht Frankfurt and why I want to be part of this club also in the future. And it would be an honor for me at some point to be part of the management in any way. That would be one of the biggest dreams.
Dream.
That's one of the biggest dreams, of course, but yeah, like you always have to dream big, and we'll see where it takes me. That would be something very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
But coming back to your question, it was the day in London. Clearly started with the meetup in the city where we were, I think, nearly 5,000 fans of Eintracht Frankfurt. And
actually, I came across numbers that are really like staggering, because 5,000 wanted to go to Rome. You guys were playing Lazio. 15 wanted to go to Milan. Jesus. And then 20,000 reached London, and there were 2,000 tickets, 2,000 odd tickets. Like, that is 1/10 of the ticket sales that are available to you guys, and you want to fill half the Chelsea stadium because the capacity is 44 and 20,000 there. So and the figure that you mentioned is 5,000. So you like officially maybe
no,
but like
I think we were around about 5,000, 4,000, 5,000 in the stadium, because as you said, there were only bit more than 2,000 spots for the away fans. We had some issues in the prior games there. That's why the number of our fans was a bit
reduced.
Yeah. But we are creative. We all got our way inside somehow, and I think in the end it was around about 5,000 in the stadium, and I think more than 10,000 being in London coming together. And we came there at 3 in the city. You can't imagine that. The middle of London, there was just everything
was black and white,
and red, and Eintracht Frankfurt was seen everywhere. And you could hear chants from every corner. Nearly every group that was standing there was Frankfurt. And at some point we moved on, and we got away from the city to Chelsea. And we walked all the way. It was, I think, 2 hours march there.
So you were marching with the entire
marching
group?
Across the streets. We didn't, like, you have to, all the traffic stopped because Eintracht Frankfurt was walking down the street. All the cars just stopped. They had to be stopping because we blocked everything.
Yeah.
We walked in front of the Buckingham Palace.
This was not a political rally, guys. It was Eintracht Frankfurt painting the town, not red but black and white.
Buckingham Palace, the Queen. We showed what Frankfurt stands in for.
Yeah.
We walked through Chelsea. And all were screaming, "If you hate fucking Chelsea, clap your hands. If you hate fucking Chelsea, clap your hands." And all the guys from up there, they, "Fuck you, fuck you." And they were all screaming at us. But they weren't doing anything.
Yeah,
of course. They were, like, we were more, to be honest, I think we were more fans than Chelsea fans are in Chelsea.
Yes.
So even if every single Chelsea fan tried to stand up against us, we were still having the higher numbers. And that shows as well how important and how big the club and the fan scene is in Frankfurt. That we come to a big club like Chelsea that has won nearly everything in the last 20 years. And we compete with them. The team is able to compete with them, and our fans and tradition even better and higher.
Yeah.
And one thing that I have to say, that in the stadium, that was something I will never forget. It was crazy. Like, the chants we were singing, we were way louder than Chelsea. They only had like 2 or 3 bad chants. Really nothing.
Typical.
And what we had there, you felt it was a home game. Like, You really had the feeling we're there, and that was something that was supporting us along the whole series you had there. And it didn't matter which match, we really we're happy that we were able to be part of this whole tour. That Frankfurt was able to compete against Lazio Rome, that they were beating Shakhtar Donetsk, they were beating Benfica Lissabon. I think we played the best group stage in history of
in the
UEFA League.
And these are like well-established European names.
Exactly. Lazio Rome, we beat twice, and like super nice. Just
I can just see chills.
Exactly.
Running down your spine at the moment.
It's just super nice to have been part of this and to see how this development was, especially this year. So I have to say that was the biggest, nicest memory I have.
Yeah, that's a beautiful moment, and I actually want to like dig more deep into this because I want to know what actually an away day looks like. I'm pretty sure you must have gone to away games of the Frankfurt ones as well. How do you firstly like differentiate between away games in the Bundesliga and this moment where you described about the semi-final with Chelsea one? How do you guys like meet up, and are there like messages that is going across? Okay, we are going to be meeting here, and then we are going to marching there, and this is what our agenda looks like for the day. And we also like take the flights together, or most of them when you're going abroad. Of course, when you're playing in the Europa League, Champions League. So just like, I'm not going to ask you questions. You just like run me through the entire.
I mean, and all in all, as you said, there's a difference if you're playing domestic or international. International hasn't been the case as much in the last couple of years, except of this year that I was just talking about. But yeah, in general, the organization of it is kind of similar that you have within the most clubs. You have a fan scene that you have several clubs. One supporter club that's located 30 kilometers away from Frankfurt. The other one is 40 kilometers away, etc. So you have your little clubs that are organized within each other. You have always the head of a club, more or less of a fan club. And nowadays with the social media, Facebook groups, with WhatsApp groups, etc., you have the possibility to quite easy communicate within the other fan clubs. So that's something that is very important nowadays. If you think of choreos, for example, if you never have seen the choreos that Eintracht Frankfurt has been showing in the season 18-19 and the Europa League season, just look it up. Every single choreography that we have this year was crazy. It was super nice.
I mean, the entire stadium at one point is like having their own choreography, yeah.
But nothing compared to Frankfurt this year. I mean, that's something that's really...
Yeah, of course, I'm talking about Frankfurt.
Okay. So I thought you meant like clubs in general have some choreography.
I mean, clubs in general just have like one end.
You mean where the fans are...
Yeah, where they're trying to show their choreography, like with the likes of Dortmund, Madrid. But with Frankfurt, it's entire stadium. Like,
True.
Could you like not just the goalkeepers ends, but it is also like the side ends, and that is something like really blows my mind. Like,
yeah, totally with you. If you look at the most clubs nowadays, you have especially this distribution. You have one part where you have the deeply loyal fans, and they're always cheering, and they're known as the ultras.
Yeah.
In Germany especially, and they're seen like diverse as well, because these are the most loyal fans, but these are the ones that are raw as well, can be over the top as well. They can be screaming and saying bad words maybe as well, but emotions, that's maybe the key word we're searching here. They're very emotional on that. I think that's one special thing that we have within all the Frankfurt fans, or most of the Frankfurt fans, is not only that we go there to see our team play, we go there to support and to see our team giving everything, and that's what we want to do as well. We want to cheer, we want to give our part in the success chain.
Yeah.
The only thing that we can do, as well as, I mean, some financial support you can have as well by buying tickets, being part of the member of the club. But within the match day, the only thing that you can do, cheering if you're in the stadium and trying to support them somehow. And I think that's everybody that's in the stadium is aware of that and really wants to push the team as good as they can. And that's what I really feel when I'm there, compared to if I've been to Dortmund. Yeah. There is a big difference. I've seen Dortmund against Frankfurt. That was crazy. The atmosphere was crazy as well, but it was more or less concentrated on the fan block that was there in Dortmund and not within the whole stadium. In Frankfurt, you really have, like I told, the choreography, the mentality that you can really see throughout the whole stadium and throughout all the fans. And I think that's a special thing we have in our club.
Like again, how does an away day look like in Europe?
In Europe, I mean, firstly, you have to try to get a ticket.
Yeah, okay. Well, if you're a Frankfurt fan, you don't have to actually. You just make it there.
Yeah, that's.
And you'll find a way.
I mean, we have been lucky as well. Some possibilities you have to always try to get every possibility, and somehow you know somebody that knows somebody.
Yeah.
What we have done as well, we have been talking to other fan club organizations. So that means, for example, I think it was the game against Benfica, we talked to the fan club of Benfica in order of them giving us cards to be able to support our team, because we weren't allowed to have cards because this ban, which I told before, because we had previous problems within the discipline of some fans.
Yeah.
So yeah, still there was a high level of fair play from these clubs giving us some tickets, and I see it as a maximization of the whole event. I mean, nobody wants to have 20-0 is not what I recall as a perfect game. We think of some games, like the first game that comes to my mind is Werder Bremen against Valencia, was a 7-5 or something.
Yeah.
What is more or less the identification of a super nice game. It goes back and forth. You have two teams that compete on the same level. You have the fans that are cheering. You have the emotions going up and down for both sides, and more or less that's what we want to see within all games, and that's what we are standing in for as well. We want to support our team wherever we can, but we want to have a fair contest. And talking about your
Fair
question with the way structure, I mean, I have only been to London. I have seen the game against Lisbon in the stadium in Frankfurt, and what was it? I think one against Rome I was seen as well in Frankfurt. But two friends of mine went to Rome as well, and it's always the same. Actually, you have your groups of people. Sometimes you have 5,000, sometimes you have 10,000, and you're there and enjoying the time together. You're having this walk throughout the city to the stadium, and you try to leave your footprints somehow. I think everybody saw some kind of stickers of several clubs within some cities, and in these clubs, in these cities, we have left many stickers within the city. So the Adler are having a big footprint in these cities as well. But talking about if a more detailed organization, I think it's more or less what you think of within every club. But the main difference is just the enthusiasm you have there, and the happiness to be there and experiencing this moment. That's, I think, the biggest difference that we have.
So like you try to get the ticket, you're there, then of course these fan clubs, you're having these messages exchanged from them, then you decide like what to do, like go around the town, you're walking, you're marching, then of course in the evening you are going to the game. And then also depending on when you get the ticket, so you might also come like a day earlier or on the day of the game.
Exactly.
But also like these European games are on the weekdays, so I guess everybody wants to come on the day. And do you also leave on the same day, or is it the next day?
No, we were like, it depends on how your possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, because the games get over like at 10, and in case it goes to the penalty shootouts, more another half an hour, and then trying to navigate in your case, like trying to navigate the London traffic and like getting to the airport. So it's basically like the earliest flight you could get is like 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, and especially if you think, I mean, one good thing is within the Europa League is that you play on Thursdays.
Yeah.
So if you're playing at 9 p.m. on Thursday, you might be leaving a bit earlier from work at 4, flying to London, for example, which takes you 1.5 hours, depends on how far you are. And then if you can arrive, etc., there and be ready at 7 or something, and then you can just be part of it without missing the whole day, and just taking one day off within the Friday gives you more opportunities then to enjoy the week and to win the victory, hopefully. So yeah, the Europa League gave us some more opportunities, and that's one good thing that it's on Thursday.
Okay. Of course, we have mentioned so much of what the essence of Frankfurt is, which is you guys, the fans. A very basic question at the moment, because this is what the Frankfurt fans have been termed as. Firstly, are you guys just crazy or aggressive? Or are you just going to now label it and say we are just passionate?
I think in general you can I can't talk for everybody, but positively crazy. I think you could declare it. The line between being crazy and being like totally upset if something happens that's not within your opinion, and how to react with it. I think aggressiveness is something that is in general nothing good, but the emotional part behind of it. It just shows you the strong connection that somebody has within the club, and reacting aggressive is not a good thing.
Yeah,
we had this in the past as well. Maybe a problem why we are where we have had the problem within the restricted seats, etc. But I would say all in all, we're positively crazy within the club. The high identification and the raw and rural attitudes that stands in for Frankfurt is something that might be seen as aggressive, but I would see it as positively crazy. Maybe one thing that I haven't been talking about so far is if you look at the biggest players within the history of Frankfurt, as I mentioned, Jürgen Grabowski, Charlie Körbel, etc. They all have been playing for the club minimum 10 years, 15 years. Mostly they haven't played for any other team. And this is such a special thing. Even the biggest clubs, for example, Bayern Munich, you have a Lothar Matthäus. The only player that I can think of that is going the same direction is Gerd Müller. He only played for Bayern Munich, and he's known as one of the best players all over the history. He's a bit, for me, Gerd Müller is one player who's a bit being undervalued in the whole discussion of biggest players of all time, etc. But that's mostly because he just played for Bayern Munich, I think, as well. If you look at Lothar Matthäus, Franz Beckenbauer, they all made a move somewhere else.
Yes.
And this increased their international reputation, but decreased the stance within the club, and maybe decreased some kind of the identity as well. And that's the thing where I can see that Frankfurt has a very outstanding position, because all this, what I'm talking about, you can see within the past players and the biggest legends that we have in the club. And it's all going aligned to philosophy. You can always see what I'm talking about, and they're going to be shown in the facts in the past.
I actually saw, like, I think 3 or 4 years ago, one Frankfurt video from the stadium where the upper tier was bouncing. Like, I couldn't even imagine. I was like, oh God, this is going to be ending in disaster. But like, of course, thanks to modern day technology and infrastructure and architecture, nothing of that sort happened. But you could literally see the tier moving. And this is not just fans doing it between minute 54 and minute 56. This is the entire 90 minutes of the game. And yeah, one actually just needs to, I guess, be at the Frankfurt Arena to like experience what we are talking about. I personally haven't been there, but of course I would like to do that as and when the world is back to its normal state.
You can see some comparison level of craziness in other leagues. Thinking of
Boca Juniors.
Sorry?
Boca Juniors and
Boca Juniors, that's an international example. Or if you stay closer in Europe, you have, first that I think of is Austrian League as well.
Yeah.
They're powerful as well. The Greece League, Olympiacos. That's I think it's called as well the hell, because it's always so red because of the old Bengalis. Then I think of the Turkish League, Besiktas as well. They're crazy. Everybody knows about the fabrics that you have in the English football. You watch the movies Hooligans.
Yes.
You have Chelsea, which is shown as one of the biggest fabrics. But what I've seen going to England and seeing the stadium and the fans was nothing. If you compare, like, it was just the chanting performance, I would say that is way lower, and it's not compared to what we have in Frankfurt. I think we just are 1 or 2 steps above that. On the other hand, the fabrics in England are evaluated differently in their performance, because most as well have the fist fighting part as well, and some other characteristics which say if a fabric is good or not. So it's not only solely on their team support, and chanting support.
What comes to your mind when I'm going to like mention these clubs now? Offenbach, Darmstadt, Mainz 05 and FSV Frankfurt. Who do you consider like your biggest rival, and who do you like have this tendency to like have hatred towards them, and who do you not care about, even though like the media or like history dubs them as your rival?
For me, I mean, looking at it historically, you have to mention Kickers Offenbach as the biggest rival, I think, because it's so close to Frankfurt. The two cities are directly next to each other, and in the past there have been legendary games and finals as well. Because they were competing on the same level. Since my life has begun, Kickers Offenbach were declining more and more, and just looking at it on a sportive view, they weren't being able to compete with Eintracht Frankfurt. And nowadays, I think Kickers Offenbach is playing the fourth or fifth division, so there is no comparison between them. On the other hand, development that way then went more or less the other direction as Kickers Offenbach went down, Mainz 05 went up and integrated themselves, I think, in the around about 2007, 2008 with Jürgen Klopp.
Yeah, 2005. Yeah,
exactly. Something like that, from that 2005 to 2010. That was where Mainz arose in their quality and they really established themselves in the top division. And so, as well as me being somebody that's from Wiesbaden, and having this clinch with Mainz anyway, because people from Mainz let's don't talk about it.
Yeah.
So I have a natural rivalry just because I'm from Wiesbaden additionally. So for me, Mainz is the most hated club there, and I don't like them as a club. All this carnival shit they're standing in for is nothing that I can rely on and identify myself with. So that's clearly my answer there. But if you look at it historically, like I said, Kickers Offenbach might be the biggest one. Then Darmstadt. I mean, they're both from Hessen. There was some times where Darmstadt was able to compete with them, but I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of them. But I wouldn't see them as a big rival, as well as FSV Frankfurt, even lower, because FSV Frankfurt, when I did my internship there last year, I've been talking to many people, of course, at the club and asking them how is the view from Frankfurt and the connection, the communication with Eintracht Frankfurt. And there they said as well that they are split in some way. Some of the management or in general fans from Frankfurt, Eintracht Frankfurt, are seeing FSV Frankfurt as rival, but most of them don't even see a rival in them, to be honest, because they always have been minimum one class below them. So
who was the one class below?
FSV Frankfurt.
Okay.
FSV Frankfurt has always been one class below Eintracht Frankfurt, minimum.
So like Real and Atletico.
Yeah, it's more
Roma,
like Valladolid and Real Madrid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would say more like this.
Yeah.
And Real Madrid wouldn't see Valladolid as a rival.
Yeah.
It's more or less the club they would rather support. Vallecano. Was it Valladolid or Vallecano? Vallecano, I think. Yeah. It's more a club that they would support because they're within the same community, as they see them as a real rival, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And by supporting a small club like Vallecano, as if you look at the same structure there, from a bigger club like Eintracht Frankfurt supporting a smaller club like FSV Frankfurt, it's more helping out the community and the people, and that's as well what the club wants to reach. They want to support the community, and that's a very important thing for them. So I would rather see, as many of people I talk to see it as well like this, FSV Frankfurt is a club that is in the same region, but is not seen as a rival.
I mean, the rivalry would come into play when actually both clubs are playing in the Bundesliga, then we see about that. But at the moment, the thinking should be, okay, this is the club from the same. This club, both of them are in the same city, right? Both of them are representing.
Of course. I think as well that the rivalry would rise when they're on the same sportive quality level. But with all this, what has been happening in the last 30 years, both clubs have a big history. They're existing for a long time. But like I said, the sportive quality has been different. So I think now that even if Frankfurt is increasing or is being promoted a couple of times, and they would be playing against each other, I don't know how big the rivalry would be and how it would develop then, because they're working together, they're playing benefits games together, just to do something for the community. Because like I said, I think now the working together part has been so long that like this hatred rivalry that we can see with Mainz 05 or Kickers Offenbach is not really possible, I would say, because of just the development.
If you like what we do, you can follow us on Instagram under the handle of Sports Tales. Check us out on our weekly show, which will be out every Wednesday. And until then, stay healthy, stay awesome. Yeah, so long.